Hi, I'm Trudy J, urban fantasy author, back again to talk to some things about writing and fantasy books and just stuff that I have inside my head, trying to get it out so it lets me sleep at night. I want you to pay attention to my beautiful hairdo that I've got here today. I just went to the hairdresser this afternoon and she slightly changed the colour. I'm getting used to that, and gave me some curls, which I don't usually have. This is a much better hairdo than I am used to having, so appreciate it as you will. Today, I wanted to talk to you about 10 things that are always in my books. I don't know if there are actually 10, I just have the heading here in my notes, and I thought I should talk to the heading. So the number one thing is that there's always magic in my books, or some form of fantasy, because I've tried to write books without it, like normal books, like just a contemporary romance. I'd love to be able to write a contemporary romance. I love contemporary romance books. I'd love to be able to write a rom-com. That would be my ideal. But I just, every time I write something, just stuff happens. Like they're going along normally, just everyday, living world, doing their thing, and then suddenly magical leprechaun comes in, or I don't know what, dragons appear, or a magical rune is cast, or something like that, that just brings in weird magic things, and it all goes pear-shaped from there. And I don't know, maybe that's just me, maybe that's just the kind of books I like, and that's just what I'm always going to write about. So that's okay, I'm okay with that. I like books with magic in them. I also actually like to have some action and some romance in my books. So I love romance. I read lots of romance. If you could see my shelves, you could probably tell. Because it's quite funny, all the dark coloured books are all the sort of fantasy style ones. And you can see over here, all the romance ones are kind of tend to be a different colour. It's quite funny. Anyway, that's clearly a trend in covers. I just like there to be some kind of mystery or something they have to overcome, or a drama of some kind that requires some form of action, some form of doing things. And I don't know why. I guess it's just something that's what happens in fantasy, like that we just have to overcome something. I don't know, I just feel like there needs to be, so it's more than just two people meeting. Not that I feel like I'm criticizing romance by saying that, and I'm really not. I love romance. So two people meeting, and it's the process of them falling in love, and the things they have to overcome are usually emotional or very normal, I don't know, relationship things. Whereas in the fantasy books that I read and the kind of ones that I write, it's all about evil dragon comes to destroy the world, or insert fantasy magical thing here to destroy the world. That's what I like to have in my books. I also like a heroine who is overlooked. If I got analysed by a psychologist, there might be some kind of deep-seated emotional trauma that I have to heal that comes out of my books. But there is always a heroine who is kind of overlooked, or seems ordinary on the outside, but is actually powerful or very special on the inside, and actually comes out and saves the world in the end. I feel like I'm revealing an innermost trauma or whatever inside me whenever I talk about that one, because it's clearly something that I feel like I was overlooked as a child, and I'm coming out of my shell. But I try not to, I won't bore you with my childhood dramas. Number 4 is heroine who fights for what she wants and has to really push herself to break through old limiting beliefs. So that for me is someone who maybe thinks that they're a certain way, or things are a certain way, and they have to think past that or break through it to achieve what they have to achieve in the world. Like to save everyone, they have to look past their own limiting beliefs and their own way that they think the world works, and kind of create a new way, create a new reality, and learn something new about themselves. Like kind of that whole progression, character progression. Mostly in my books, the humans can't see the magic. And even when I was planning for another book recently, and I was sitting there deciding whether I would have a book where the humans could see the magic. Yeah, just like that it was visible, or that it was maybe two separate worlds and they could travel between them or whatever. And I just decided, no, I prefer it when the magic is kind of like this secret thing that's there, that the magical people live among the humans, but for some reason, for whatever reason, the humans just can't see that. In one of my books, it's a magic spell web. So there's a magical web that means that the humans, it's a spell protecting them so they can't be seen. I mean, in the carnival books, I guess humans could see the magic. I don't know why. I just never really thought of the outsiders being able to see the magic, so they hide it. I don't know, I think I like the humans being kind of oblivious to the stuff that's going on around them. And magic. Did I mention magic? That there's always magic in my books? I also I'm not someone who can have a horribly dark and bleak ending. I need there to be a happy ending. Things get resolved, the good guys win. I'm not writing a bleak story where the bad guys win at the end. I don't want to read stories like that myself, and I don't want to make others read stories like that. So I have a basically cheerful personality, you might be able to tell, and so that comes through in my writing. I'm not going to write a bleak story. I'm not going to write a slice of life story. There's always kind of an emotional arc, there's always a story arc, there's always a, you know, things coming to a head and then a nice conclusion. So that's something else I always have in my stories. And so I don't actually think that was 10. I feel like I'm being problematic because I promised 10 and now I've got maybe seven things. I don't know what else is always in my books. Usually female protagonists. I've written from a male perspective. I often have the male perspectives in there, but usually it's the female who is the main character and the protagonist, the main character that I write from. I do try to be a little bit different. Like I've been reading fantasy for a long time, you know, since I was a kid essentially, and you know, there's certain things, like I have dragons in my books, but I also like to try and make up new creatures and have new monsters and things that aren't out there in the world, or mash two things together and create something new. So they're often kind of weird and wonderful mashups of new creatures and new things in my books. So that's why I think I'm at 8. I think I'm just going to say more magic and more magic. That's always going to be there. Magic and more magic. So hopefully that's enough about all the types of things that you'll find in one of my books. I hope you will check them out and see what you think, or comment below to see if there's anything that you think should be in one of my books, or anything you would like me to add, or anything that you love about fantasy. I'd love to hear it. But for now, I think that will be me, and I will talk again soon. Bye.